Hey YouTube, Celiphias42 here. Okay, I've been tagged twice, so I'm gonna go ahead and do both of them in this one video, like I did with the last tag video. Watch the last tag video and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, this edition of it we will call Portrait of a Sexed-up Atheist, since most of you know by now that I am a pantheist, and Dawkins gave us the awesomest title ever for that. So, first thing for the Portrait of a Sexed-up Atheist, we're talking about abortion, capital punishment, drug laws, gay rights, and economics. On abortion, once the fetus has reached a stage where it can be sustained outside of the mother, then it is a life. Anything prior to that, do with it what you will. I'm a man, so I really don't think I should have any opinion in what a woman does or doesn't do with her body when she has her own little parasitic infection. Capital punishment, I am a little bit conflicted on. On the one hand, we have the issue of justice. On the other hand, what happens when somebody is punished in this way and then we find out later that they're innocent? Overall, my opinion on it would be to not engage in it. Rehabilitation in general for any crime is the better way to go across the board. Then we have another issue in terms of sociopathic serial killers. We should set up a kind of escape from LA prison system to toss them into. Something kind of along the lines of what Australia was intended to be, but not petty criminals. Petty criminals don't get this particular exile. It would be, the hardcore, absolutely no chance of rehabilitation criminals. Drug laws. Yay! I am well aware of some of the issues that would develop from a legalized straight across the board program. An idea that I came up with years ago is that doing drugs is a privilege, not a right. Kind of like driving. There's a certain amount of responsibility towards the rest of society that you have to respect. My perception is, given the nature of the change in personality and perceptions of a person under the influence of drugs, there should be a certain degree of awareness of the responsibility to the rest of society. So what I'm advocating, after I'm beating around the bush a bunch, is a licensing program for each class of drug. Depressants, hallucinogens, stimulants, etc., however they want to break them up. A person then, if they feel so inclined to do a particular class of drug, takes a class on it. Basically have it all set up just like a driver's license. You take your written test, you take, your driver's test, which would be probably a two-part thing. One would be just a baseline test. You do the drug for a certain period of time under observation from a licensed professional. This would just be normal conditions, sitting around watching TV or whatever. And then a second run after the first run is done, where more stressful situations are applied to the test. Actors coming in and being belligerent, or some other kind of mental or emotional strain, to see how a person reacts. If you aren't able to handle real life happening when you're on the drugs, you shouldn't be allowed to have the drugs. Would include alcohol and tobacco in this also. My whole issue with this gay rights thing is there seems to be a whole lot of hullabaloo about the difference between a civil union and marriage. If you ask me, a marriage is just the same thing as a civil union, except that it may or may not have religious connotations. My proposal would be reserve marriages for religious institutions, let them marry whoever they want or don't want, but they get none of the social benefits that are associated with government's recognition of that union, and that a government recognized benefit would be the civil union, wherein anybody that is classified as a human being can engage in a civil union as long as they are consenting adults or with the permission of the parents, since I know some places still like to let their kids get married young. So let's turn this around a little bit and say, you know what, let's go ahead and let anybody get involved in a civil union that wants to get involved in a civil union, but your fucking marriage doesn't mean squat unless it's coupled as a civil union, and the marriage is just a religious title that you can throw onto it so that you can feel like you're united under God or whatever the fuck you think you need. Economics. I used to be a hardcore free market guy in terms of the whole economics thing, but one of the things that I realized that would be required to make free market work is honesty and integrity from the owners or managers or CEOs and board or however of the corporation, not just a glutton for profit at the expense of anybody, which there are some corporations out there that do this of their own volition without government prompting, and I think that companies like that should be supported, which brings me to my next point: unaware and educated citizenship. If the public is not educated and aware about what it is that these companies are doing and what their practices are, then a free market system could never be sustained. It would end up degenerating into corporate feudalism. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. If you were to look at the history of that particular economic policy in the countries that it's been implemented, it's based on bubble economies. There's nothing stable about that, in my opinion. It's a great way for the rich to get richer and the poor to get fucked over. 5 facts. 1. I am in a band. We play metal. Fact number 2. Although the dreadlocks are sweet, everything underneath the bandana is a mess. I shower and wash my hair regularly, so maintaining this area right here, it all falls apart real fast when I'm cleaning. Fact number 3. I hate Italian food unless it has been so thoroughly Americanized that it bears no resemblance to its original, like pizza or spaghetti. Then I don't want to have anything to do with it. If it has a double C in it that is pronounced like a CH, I don't want to have anything to do with it. If it has Alfredo in it, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Period. End of story. Okay, fact number 4. I have 2 cats and a puppy. My housemate has 2 dogs and a cat. So at any given time around this house, well, basically all the time at this house, there are 3 dogs and 3 cats running around like a bunch of crazy animals. Fact number 5. As often as I'm on vlog TV or making videos or basically just generally socializing with people online, I hate social situations in public or in real life. I hate large crowds. If I'm ever in situations like that, I would much rather be inebriated than sober. Stupidity can't be contagious. Anyway, that's Portrait of a Sexed-up Atheist and 5 facts. Peace, bitches.